All right, we were talking about this show, Squid Game, the challenge, and how insane it is and how big of a production this was. And there was over 400 people who got to be on this show.
I really did not realize how many people were on it until they did that first number scroll.
Yeah, it's such a big production, and it's insane. And one of the people who was on Squid Game, the challenge, is joining us now. And I want to get your name right. Is it Roger Van Sluis? Am I saying that right?
You got it. That's it.
There we go. Okay, Roger, tell me about this experience, because this must have been absolutely insane. When did you first hear about the Squid Game reality show, the challenge thing existing, and then how did you end up getting cast on the show?
Yeah, it was over a year ago. It was about this time last year, and something just hit my inbox saying that they were going to make a reality show, and I applied and didn't hear anything for months. So they shot in January in London. So that's when we all got approved. I think there were 90,000 applications, give or take, and they nailed it. They narrowed it down to about 400 of us.
What'd you have to do for an application? Was it like a video kind of thing, or?
Yeah, exactly. I gave a 45-second video. I only spent about 5 minutes on it, did 3 takes, and they enjoyed it enough that I went through the casting process, which was about 8 to 10 rounds of interviews over Zoom like this.
Wow. And what are they asking you? Do you know about the series Squid Game? What kind of questions are they asking you?
Yeah, anything like that. Like, are you able to leave your work? Are you able to be off site for a while? What do you know about the show? A common theme is, what would you do with the money? So that was all those and more they kept asking.
So you get the call, I imagine, at some point, and they go, "It's on. You're going to be on Squid Game, the challenge. Let's do this."
They fly you out, I imagine, or did you have to take care of all of that?
So they flew us out. Yeah. So I went to LAX. I'm Southern California based. And you just see people that you can tell are going to be on the show.
Oh, really?
So I saw
So you saw other people at the airport who you were like, we're going to be battling each other for this $4.56 million right here.
Yes. It's and they tell you, do not talk to anybody. So you cannot talk to anybody, your friends, your family, people on a plane. They really want you to keep it quiet until the show came out.
So where was it, near London? Where was this at that they were filming this? Because it must have been a huge place considering the size and scope of these Squid Games game sets.
Yeah, they take away all your cellular devices, all your watches, anything to help you know where and when you're out. But they load 400 people onto these buses, and they took us out to like an airport hangar to compete in red light, green light, and subsequent games as well.
Have you seen some of the reaction from people on TikTok who have been following the show saying like, Sean and I were very fascinated by the amount of microphones everybody must have had and how to wield that all together. And there was like TikTokers saying like half of them were fake. Some people had trips home booked before they were really out of the show. Do you have a reaction to any of those claims?
100% true. I had a dummy mic. So I was like, what? And my friend had a real mic. And then I think logistically, if you're booking 460 people, it's easier to adjust the flight that's currently booked than to book a new one. So they probably gave everyone a return flight immediately. And those that made it in further rounds, they adjusted. But there has been an outcry on social media, definitely.
Interesting. So they told you flat out, like, this is a dummy microphone. This is just a prop right here.
No, they didn't tell you. They put it on you. So you think it's a microphone. And then you start, you're sitting there for hours and hours with dry run, line up. Each contestant goes to a booth. So 1 through 50, 50 through 100, 150 to 200, 200 to 250. Everybody goes to their respective tents. And that's there where you sit and wait to be called out.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. And then they get you all geared up, right? They had to give you the outfit with the numbers and all that stuff. What number did you end up with?
I was player 329.
329. You get that. You put it on. And did they also put the squib thing on you, with the thing that made it look like you were getting shot?
Definitely. The blood pack goes on, and it's a mix of excitement, fear, and the culmination of everything just happening at once. But yes, you got the mic, you got the blood pack, and your uniform on.
From what I heard as well with these, a little bit of outcry on social media was that especially during red light, green light, how freezing cold it was. Now, when you're looking at it on TV, it looked like just like a soundstage, but clearly it was outside. Or are they insinuating that perhaps like they just made it as cold inside of this soundstage?
It was in like an airport hangar. So it's kind of picture something with no heater, no nothing, huge ceilings, just massive. And it was freezing. Like I thought it was like 38 to 40. Somebody competed for 9 hours. They said when they finished, it was 24 degrees. I don't know if that's true. And you're wearing, all they give you is a tracksuit with some, this thin tracksuit with some like thermal, some long johns.
Yeah.
And they give you 2 of those. So you're supposed to wear 2 long johns in your tracksuit. And they give you hand warmers and foot warmers. It had to be tough to manage 460 people. But the outcry has been huge on TikTok.
Well, do you agree with that? Do you side with that? The people who are saying they didn't treat us right, they didn't go far enough to make sure that we were safe on the set of Squid Games, the challenge, or do you think that they're exaggerating?
I think that of 90,000 people, you narrow it to about 450. Most reality shows have about 20 people. So a lot of us were given a great opportunity. The reason why it probably was in Europe and not in the U.S., because we have labor laws, we have meal breaks, we have medicine. All that stuff probably isn't here in the U.S. like it is here. And in London, it's not. So that's probably one of the reasons why it was shot out there. To answer your question, I think there's a tiny bit of sour grapes on the contestants.
Well, what about when they put this squib on you? And part of the thing that I saw was for a red light, green light, or anything else, when you lose, you get shot, and it makes it look like you got shot. Did they tell you, like, pretend like you're dying? Did they teach you how to, like, kind of fake die before you went out there?
100%. They said, act like, they said, fall down and die, basically, you know? So,
can't say that.
Real quick, yeah.
Just like you can't say it on Squid Game, you can't say it here. They didn't want you to curse. They didn't want you to say, like, the S word. They wanted to make sure, you know, everything was done the right way. So there was probably a lot of education going on as to get the whole scene perfect.
Yeah, it took, like I said, it took about 9 hours, and you're not moving the whole time. So that one girl that was in a squat position, she probably was there for over 30 minutes. So between the court, as soon as the game started, it was live. You were not able, you'd move 10 feet, wait, 15 feet, wait, and you would just have to freeze.
So let's take it to that. Let's get to red light, green light. You're out there. You're on the grounds. You're going to get into the Squid Games action, and it starts. Do you have a strategy going? Did you think about this ahead of time? Or did you, like, watch the show and go, here's how I can prepare for this?
I definitely did, and boy, did that strategy backfire. Rather than be one of the lead ones out front, I hung towards the back. I thought that would be great. I thought the acoustics, you could hear perfectly. But as the game went on, hours and hours and hours, people on the outskirts were near the wall, so they almost leaned onto it as like a rest. So it's
see, the way that they put it on the show, though, it's like they made it what could be maybe a 5-10 minute segment. But you're saying that when they had it at red light, people were in still position for many minutes at a time?
Oh, yes. At least 10 to 30 minutes each time. And nobody had passed the finish line after about 4.5, 5 hours. One guy, that guy that made it first, he was the first one to make it through. So imagine a game of freeze tag that goes on that long, more or less.
Oh, man. We're talking to Roger Van Sluis, who is on the show Squid Game, The Challenge. There's a bunch of controversy around this. I think it's been fantastic to watch so far. So, needless to say, if your strategy didn't pay off, you didn't make it to the other side of that line, huh?
I did not. There's a whole hashtag that said, I didn't move. And, you know, I never saw the video of me moving, but after 4.5 hours, they said I did. So, boom, the pack exploded, and so did my dreams.
Oh, just like that.
What was it with 400 plus contestants? Did it make it harder to pick yourself out on the TV show when you went back to watch it? Or because of that you were just describing, were you able to, like, go, oh, look, that's where I died?
I'm a pretty athletic guy, so I kind of thought the first 2 challenges were up to me. I could do red light, green light. I could do the cookie. And if I got on a team, then I was up to the fate of a coin toss. So I thought by hanging out the back and focusing on just getting through, I was going to do good. But in the end, it just backfired, man. So,
Dang.
Well, one thing that I noticed was there was this tweet that I read earlier on the show where somebody was very upset. Netflix tweeted out the video of this player who started crying, and he was like dry heaving and stuff. The guy was very strange. And they said, this is taking advantage of people. This guy, you know, he's got probably bills to pay, blah, blah, blah. On and on they were going. And when I saw it, I just took it totally different. I said, I think these people got to experience something that so many other people would die to do. And even though they didn't get the money, you got something out of this. But what do you make of the fact that people are saying this is a mean show? Let me give you the actual tweet so you can know the context of what I'm saying. So Netflix tweeted out the video promo of the guy crying. Oh, did they delete it? I think somebody must have deleted it. Anyhow, it said something to the effect of, this isn't entertainment. This is abusive, what you're doing to these people. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Hollywood needs to sensationalize anything a little bit. And most of us knew what we were signing up for. It's called Squid Game. You know, it's going to be something pretty tough. And somebody who's leaving there with 4.6 million, basically. So if that individual or somebody, I mean, we knew, the psychologist took us through in the pre-screening that, like, this might be around for a while. So kind of watch what you say and how do you behave. And there was a lot of support from Studio Lambert and groups like that filmed it for Netflix.
Yeah, big question for you, and I will be mad if this is not the case. Did they let you keep your Squid Game uniform?
They did not. They took those things away so fast. Like,
That's
you had to return your...
man.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? So they, right after you're out. Oh, by the way, let's go to this real quick. You get out, and then you have to do the fake death thing. Do you have to lay down on the ground fake dead for the entirety of the remaining challenge?
So that it was implied that you should. I don't think it was said explicitly, but it was implied that you should. So after I laid on that 30, 40 degree ground for about 10 minutes, I said, I'm out of here. I'm not going to catch a cold.
Yeah, see you later. So they took the damn suits right away from you, because that would have been cool to have. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I think some contestants might have snuck them, because you went back to the hotel, walk of shame, you know, and the next morning you were bust right out of there. Mm-hmm. So it's I've seen some on the WhatsApp threads that some people kept them.
Now, have you watched all the 5 episodes that are released so far?
I did. It was emotionally, it was a little tough, but I was able to get through it.
When you watched it, any of the people who have made it pretty far now, did you talk to them at any point in time? Did you connect with any of the people who have made it that far?
Yeah. So if you've watched it all, Dr. V, he's number 330. Mm-hmm. So he's right behind me. So he was my line mate through everything. So when he got off the show, we stayed in contact, and he's a great guy. So if you want me to reach out to somebody who made it, and he was the one that was eliminated, if you remember, they voted who they're going to eliminate.
Yeah.
And that was him. So he's cool. A cool cat.
It's all so brutal. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you talked to us. We appreciate you taking the time.
Do you regret doing it, or do you appreciate your experience with it?
I would do it over again in a second. Okay. The number one person I'm disappointed is in me not being able to go further in the game. So definitely, I'll do it over again. If there's a season 2, they know how to get a hold of me.
All right, thank you, Roger Van Sluis. Appreciate you from Squid Game, The Challenge, and that is so much harder than I thought. Yeah. Sabrina, I'm totally with you. I thought that they were out there participating in that game for basically like the length that they showed it on the show.
Can you imagine standing still for 30 minutes?
No, I can't do that. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. And especially there were some older people out there. That would have been incredibly difficult for them